His name was Daniel. He was a quiet boy. He did not talk much. He did not laugh loudly. He did not run with the other boys at school. He just sat near the window, looked outside, and watched the world go by. But Daniel had a secret. Every day when he walked to school, he passed a small house with a red door. And every day at exactly 7:30 in the morning, a girl came out of that house. She had long dark hair. She always wore a yellow bag. She always smiled. Not at anyone, just at the morning. At the birds. The sky. At everything. Her name was Sarah. Daniel never spoke to her. Not once. But every morning, he walked a little slower past her house, just to see her smile. This went on for months. Then it went on for years. Daniel and Sarah went to the same school. They sat in the same classroom. They walked the same roads. But Daniel never said a word to her. He watched her from far away. He knew she liked books. He knew she laughed at funny things. He knew she cried when the teacher read a sad poem in class. He knew everything about her. But she did not know he existed. And every night, Daniel sat in his small room, opened his old notebook, and wrote her name. Just her name. Nothing else. Sarah. He thought that was enough. He was wrong. One afternoon in winter, it started to rain. Daniel was sitting under a tree near the school gate, waiting for the rain to stop. He had no umbrella. He had no coat. He was cold and wet and alone. Then he heard a voice. "Do you want to share?" He looked up. It was Sarah. She was standing next to him, holding a big blue umbrella, smiling down at him. Daniel's heart stopped. His mouth went dry. His brain stopped working. I, he said. Nothing came out. He just stared at her. She laughed. A soft, kind laugh, and she moved closer, holding the umbrella over both of them. "You're completely wet," she said. "Don't worry. I have a big umbrella." They stood together under the umbrella. Rain fell all around them. The world was cold and gray, but Daniel felt warm. More warm than he had ever felt in his life. "I'm Sarah," she said. "I know," he said. Then he stopped. He felt embarrassed. I'm Daniel." She smiled. "I know." He looked at her. "You know my name?" "Of course," she said. "You sit 3 rows behind me in class. You always finish the reading first. And you have a blue pen that you always click when you are thinking." Daniel could not speak. She had noticed him. All this time she had noticed him. The rain stopped. Sarah closed her umbrella. She started walking away. "Thank you," Daniel said quickly. She turned and smiled at him. "See you tomorrow, Daniel." He stood there in the cold air, heart pounding, feeling like the whole world had just changed. It had. After that day, things were different. Sarah started saying hello to him in the hallways. She smiled at him in class. One day, she sat next to him in the library and asked him what book he was reading. He was so surprised that he dropped the book on his foot. She laughed. He laughed too. And something soft and real started growing between them. They became friends. Real friends. They walked home together after school. They talked about books and music and small things. Sarah told him about her grandmother who lived far away. Daniel told her about his father who worked at night and slept during the day. So the house was always quiet and a little sad. "Do you get lonely?" she asked him one afternoon. He thought for a moment. "I used to," he said. "Not anymore." She smiled. She did not ask why, but she knew. Their friendship became the best part of Daniel's day. Every morning he woke up happy because he knew he would see her. Every evening he felt full, like he had eaten a good meal but better. But he still never told her how he felt. He was afraid. What if she did not feel the same? What if he said the words and everything changed? What if he lost the only good thing in his life? So he stayed quiet. He loved her in silence the way he had always done. And the months passed. And the years passed. When they were 17, Sarah told Daniel something. They were sitting on the grass behind the school. The sky was orange and pink. The day was ending. "I have to tell you something," she said. Daniel looked at her. "My family is moving," she said, "to another city, far away. My father got a new job." The world stopped. "When?" Daniel asked. His voice was very small. "Next month," she said. He looked at the orange sky. He looked at the grass. He looked at his hands. He could not look at her because he felt his eyes getting wet. "Oh," he said. "I don't want to go," she said. "But I have to." That night, Daniel sat at his desk for a long time. Then he took out a piece of paper, and he started writing. "Dear Sarah, I have wanted to say this for 4 years. I love you. Not like a friend loves a friend. I love you the way the sun loves the morning. I love you the way music loves silence. You are the best part of my every day. You are the reason I walk to school. You are the reason I open my eyes. I should have said this a long time ago, but I was afraid. I am still afraid. But now you are leaving, and I cannot let you go without knowing. I love you. Daniel." He read the letter 3 times. Then he folded it. He put it in his pocket. The next morning, he walked to school with the letter in his pocket. Sarah was walking beside him, talking about something funny that happened at home. She was laughing. She looked beautiful in the morning light. He put his hand in his pocket. He held the letter. Then he let it go. He did not give it to her. He was still afraid. The day Sarah left came fast, the way all painful days do. Daniel went to her house. Her family was packing the last boxes into a big truck. Sarah was standing by the red door, the same red door he had passed every morning for years, and she looked sad and tired and a little lost. She saw him and smiled, but the smile was different now, softer, sadder. "You came," she said. "Of course," he said. They stood together. They did not talk for a moment. The truck engine was loud. People were moving around them. "I'm going to miss this," she said softly. "Me too," he said. He wanted to say more. He wanted to say everything. The letter was still in his pocket. He had carried it every day for a week. He put his hand in his pocket and felt the folded paper. "Sarah," he said. She looked at him. His heart was pounding. This was the moment. "Say it. Say it now. Don't let her go without knowing. Take care of yourself," he said. She nodded. Her eyes were wet now. She stepped forward and hugged him. A long, real hug, the kind that means more than words. "You too, Daniel," she said quietly near his ear. Then she got in the car. The door closed. The truck started moving, and Daniel stood on the road and watched her go, until the car turned the corner and disappeared. He stood there for a long time. The street was empty. The red door of her house was open now, and inside he could see the empty rooms, pale walls, sunlight on a bare floor. He reached into his pocket and took out the letter. He looked at it for a moment. Then he put it back. He walked home, slowly, alone. 5 years went by. Daniel finished school. He went to university in another city. He studied, he worked, he made new friends. His life moved forward the way life always does. But there were quiet moments, in the library, in the rain on cold mornings, when he thought of Sarah. He wondered where she was. He wondered if she was happy. He wondered if she ever thought of him. He never reached out. He had her old email address. He had found her on social media once, looked at her photo for a long time, and then closed the screen without sending a message. He was still afraid. One day a friend asked him, "Have you ever been in love?" Daniel thought about it. "Yes," he said. "What happened?" "Nothing," he said. That was the problem. He was 25 when he came back to his hometown. His mother was sick. Nothing very serious, but she needed help for a few months. So Daniel came back to the small town where he had grown up. The narrow roads, the old school, the park by the river. On his third day back, he was walking through the market, buying vegetables, thinking about nothing, when he heard a voice. "Daniel." He turned around. It was Sarah. She looked the same, a little older. Her hair was shorter now, but she had the same eyes, the same way of standing, the same feeling that made the air around her seem brighter. They stared at each other for a long moment. "Sarah," he said, "what are you doing here?" She asked. "My mother," he said. "She needs some help. I'm back for a while." "Me too," she said. "My grandmother is not well. I'm staying with her." They looked at each other in the middle of the market, with people walking around them, and it felt like no time had passed at all, and also like 100 years had passed, both at the same time. "Do you want to get coffee?" he asked. She smiled. "Yes," she said. "I really do." They sat in a small cafe near the park, the same park where they used to walk after school. Outside, the trees were turning red and gold. Autumn was here. They talked for 3 hours. They talked about university, about work, about their families. They laughed about things they remembered from school. They talked about the books they had read, the places they had been. And slowly, the conversation became quieter, more serious, more real. "Can I ask you something?" Sarah said. "Of course," Daniel said. She looked at him. Her eyes were steady and calm and a little careful. Did you ever think about saying something to me? Before I left? Because I always felt like." She stopped. She looked at her cup. "Never mind." Daniel's heart was pounding. "No," he said. "Tell me." She looked up at him. "I always felt like there was something you wanted to say. Something you never said." The cafe was warm. Music was playing softly somewhere. Daniel looked at this woman sitting across from him. This woman he had loved since he was 13 years old, who had shared her umbrella with him in the rain, who had hugged him at the red door, who had occupied a quiet corner of his heart for more than a decade. He reached into his jacket pocket. By some miracle, or maybe not a miracle, maybe something like hope, he had put the letter in his pocket that morning. He did this sometimes when he came back to his hometown. He carried it like a small, sad habit. He took out the folded letter. It was worn now, soft at the edges like something very old. He put it on the table. Sarah looked at it. Then she looked at him. "What is this?" she whispered. "A letter," he said. "I wrote it the night before you left. I was going to give it to you. I carried it to your house. But I was too afraid." She slowly reached out and picked it up. She unfolded it carefully, and she read it. Daniel watched her face as she read. He saw the moment she understood what it said. He saw her eyes fill with water. When she finished, she put the letter down very gently on the table. She sat quietly for a moment. Then she said, "Daniel." "Yes," he said. "I felt the same way," she said. "I felt the same way for years. I waited and waited for you to say something. I thought maybe I was imagining it. I thought maybe you just saw me as a friend." She paused. "I cried on the drive away. For a very long time." Something broke open inside Daniel's chest. Not painfully. Like a window opening after a long winter. Light coming in. "I'm sorry," he said. "I was a coward." "So was I," she said. "I could have said something too." They sat together in the quiet cafe, the old letter between them on the table, 12 years of silence finally at an end. Some people say that if you miss your moment, it is gone forever. They are sometimes right. But sometimes, not always, but sometimes life is kind. And it gives you the moment again, older and a little wiser, when you are finally ready to take it. Daniel and Sarah started spending time together again. Every day. While they were both in the small town taking care of their families. They walked by the river. They sat in the cafe. They talked for hours about everything and nothing. And slowly, like a plant in spring, like light on water, something warm and real began to grow. One evening, they were sitting on a bench in the park as the sun went down. The sky was purple and orange. The river was quiet. The whole world felt still. "I don't want to waste any more time," Daniel said. Sarah turned to look at him. "I loved you when we were 13, he said. "I love you now. I don't know what happens next. I don't know where we'll live or how it will work. But I know that I don't want to keep this inside anymore. I spent 12 years being afraid. I don't want to be afraid anymore." Sarah looked at him for a long moment. Her eyes were bright. Then she took his hand. "Me too," she said softly. "Me too." 1 year later, Daniel and Sarah were married. It was a small wedding, just family and a few close friends. Simple food, simple flowers, simple music. But when Sarah arrived, Daniel saw her and he could not stop smiling. He had never in his life felt so full, so completely full, that he thought he might simply fall over from the weight of happiness. After the wedding, they went back to their hometown for a weekend, just the two of them. They walked the old roads. They passed the old school. They sat in the cafe where they had talked for 3 hours in autumn and changed everything. And then they walked to Sarah's old street. The small house with the red door. A different family lived there now. The door was still red. Daniel stood in front of it. He thought of the boy he had been, 13 years old, walking slowly past this door every morning, too afraid to say a word, writing a girl's name in a notebook every night. He felt very tender toward that boy. He had carried so much so quietly for so long. Sarah took his hand. "What are you thinking?" she asked. He smiled. "I'm thinking about how different everything could have been," he said. "If I had been a little braver, a little sooner." She leaned her head on his shoulder. "Or maybe," she said, "this was exactly the right time." Maybe we needed all those years. Maybe we needed to grow up first. He thought about that. He put his arm around her. Maybe she was right. Or maybe it did not matter anymore. Because here they were, standing together in front of the red door, on a quiet morning, with the whole rest of their lives ahead of them. And this time Daniel was not afraid. We did not lose each other in a fight. We lost each other in a silence. And silence, when you love someone, is the loudest kind of goodbye. If this story felt familiar, if you have ever lost someone not to a fight but to silence like this video, subscribe to this channel and share this with one person you have been meaning to talk to. Today, not tomorrow. Today. Thank you for listening.